During the 2 years it took to research and write my large book, If God is Good, Faith in the Midst of Suffering and Evil, many people asked me what I was working on. I expected my answer, containing the words evil and suffering, would prompt a quick change of subject. Most, however, expressed keen interest and asked penetrating questions. Several launched into their own stories, as if having received permission to uncork the bottle. What, after all, is more universal to human experience than suffering? And what can be more important than the perspective we bring to it? When it's deeply personal. You may be looking for answers to a philosophical problem or an intellectual struggle. Or you may be looking less for answers than for hope. When a child has fallen off a bicycle, her father doesn't give a lecture about nerve endings, skin tissue, and the role of blood as it's pumped by the heart. He reassures the child that he's there for her and everything will be okay. For you, the answer may simply be, God really does love me. If something like abuse, desertion, debilitating disease, or the loss of a loved one has devastated you, then suffering isn't theoretical or philosophical, it's deeply personal. In writing his magnificent story of redemption, God has revealed truths about himself, us, the world, goodness, evil, suffering, and heaven and hell. Those truths teem with life. The blood of man and of God flows through them. God speaks with passion, not indifference. To come to grips with the problem of evil and suffering, you must do more than hear heart-wrenching stories about suffering people. You must hear God's truth to help you interpret those stories. Maybe you're holding on to years of bitterness and depression. You blame someone else for your suffering, and that someone you blame may be God. You will not find relief unless you gain perspective. But perhaps you fear that any attempt to gain perspective will deny or minimize your suffering or that of others. I promise you, the Bible doesn't minimize suffering or gloss over it, and neither will I. At times, each of us must snuggle into our Father's arms like children and there receive the comfort we need. God doesn't just offer us advice, He offers us companionship. He doesn't promise we won't face hardship, but He does promise He'll walk with us through our hardship.